Okay, the team's all back together again.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about the journalists who are busy writing about where the bloody hell are the Greens? Why aren't the Greens, who have great policies, fighting back against the rise of the right wing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I wanted to talk about. And I think the first thing is the billionaires control
The media.
the media.
Yeah.
They control 90% of the Australian
Absolutely.
media.
Second most saturated media in the world.
Exactly,
Behind Brazil.
Brazil. And so if you've got a policy that says, let's tax the billionaires,
Yeah.
and your media is owned by the billionaires,
Surprise, surprise, it's not
They're
being
not-
reported
they're
on.
not going to report on it. No, we've been the third largest party for so long, and do we get anywhere near the media coverage?
No.
No.
It always shocks me when I say something like a Greens policy to a friend and they go, I didn't know the Greens were standing for that. It's like, how? And then I realise that it's not being reported on. Like,
Even in friendly media, they talked the other day about getting money out of politics and about how the mainstream parties are beholden to donors and political and corporations. We don't take donations from corporations, but they don't say that. They say the major parties, and I think that David Shoebridge mentioned this, is that we've been around so long now that we're seen as part of the establishment.
yeah.
So when people say the major parties take political donations, even though they're talking about the LNP and the Labor Party, people assume that the Greens are in there as well.
Yeah.
And journalists aren't making that distinction, which
No.
is really unfortunate. So that's made for us. It's made for independence, but it's less. It's difficult for. Then there's the structure of the Greens themselves. We're a state-based organisation, so when I say the Greens don't take donations, I'm talking about the New South Wales Greens. I can't say that for the Australian Greens because there's no such thing apart from the people that sit in Parliament, and I'm not sure about the other states, and they each have their own constitutions. So that grassroots democracy can have its own issues. I think
But media's also pretended that this is a game of football. Is it the red team? Is it the blue team?
Yeah.
And you see that with, for instance, the political debates. They get the blue team and they get the red team, and they get to, argue their very similar politics without inviting the green.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The Greens.
the other thing is we're put on a spectrum as to the left of Labor, and Labor is sort of centre left, and the Liberal Party on the right, and I just don't think that's true. I don't think we align particularly well with the Labor Party at all.
No, they're closer to the Liberal.
Well,
Nationals.
they have a different ideology. So we believe that that the science is real. We accept the science. We accept the science around climate change, and the Labor Party believe in renewables. They don't accept the science around climate change. They're still taking donations from
They're
gas and coal
they're still opening
corporations.
new
They're
coal
still
mines.
opening new coal and gas mines.
Yeah.
We know that you can't do that and believe in climate change at the same time. We can't do that. They can, because they have a different ideology. They have an ideology that believes that the idea is more important than the reality. They believe that it's more important for them to beat the Liberal Party at the next election
Yes,
than it is
it's
to
a
take
game of
action
football
on
to
climate
them.
change.
Yes.
But they actually believe that.
Yes.
That's ideology. That's what I keep talking about, me being a materialist and not an idealist. That's what I mean. That once you believe, once you accept the science, then you have to accept the material underpinnings of our whole existence. If you accept the material underpinnings of our whole existence, you can't be in the Labor Party or the Liberal Party or the National Party. You just can't.
No.
So there's a chasm between us, and people don't see that, and it's really difficult for us to get that across.
Yeah.
The other thing with the Pauline Hanson vote at the moment is that it's not a vote in the future. It's a vote to go back to a past that never existed.
Yes.
It's a vote for an idea that rejects science entirely. So it's nothing like us at all. So when people are doing that, they're not coming to us. They're going to, to a
A nostalgia for a past that never existed.
yes, and never, and wasn't that good. What did exist wasn't that good. So that's the sort of problems we're confronting. And in all that, we've held our vote, despite the corporations, the big money weighed against us. We've held our vote, and our vote is held really strong amongst younger people who get the science and get because they've grown up with it. They can see see what's happening in Europe. They can see what's happening with our oceans. They've got access to social media. They've got access to a broader based media. They can actually get what's happening. Whereas the older generation are looking out for themselves. We've got a cost of living crisis and blah blah blah. We don't have a short term fix for them in the way that the dreams of the Pauline Hanson, you're rolling back to a past by just stopping immigration, which wouldn't work, and we all know it wouldn't work. But that dream is something that they can sell. So, and we've seen that around the world. This isn't just an Australian issue. We're seeing it today with, with Reform being forced to a by-election in the UK. We're seeing it with Trumpism in the US. But we're also seeing a move to an ecological materialist left. So we're seeing the Democratic Socialists kicking goals in the US, and it's small, but Memdani becoming the mayor of New York.
The Greens in local elections in the UK.
The Greens in local elections in the and more broadly in the UK, as a real threat to Reform and to Labor themselves. We are seeing a shift, and because I'm a materialist, I know that the material underpinnings are going to keep happening.
Yes.
And if you hold firm, if you hold ground, and holds firm to your beliefs, even if people don't like it, they should be able to respect us for holding true to our beliefs. Yeah. And I think that we do.
Well, they're
that.
not beliefs. We're basing our policies on facts. Yeah. That's the difference, isn't it?
We're basing our So what I would call materialism. So material facts or the material reality, and that leaves space for mysticism. It leaves space for beauty. It leaves space for spiritualism. Absolutely, I consider myself a mystical person. I'm happy that there are things that humans will never understand because we are part of this universe, because we're part of this ecosystem. But learning to love that mystery is a whole thing. It means that the tech bro view of the future is just a mirage. And that's part of what Hanson's buying into as well, if you noticed. It's all, we talk about Hanson, we should be talking about Gina Reinhardt's party.
Yes, we should, yes. Yeah.
And you look at her investing so heavily in SpaceX and investing in Musk and in the idea. It's in the idea of the idea, which is absolutely mad. But, when you sit and look at it, it's just absolutely insane. But these people believe it. It's ideology gone mad. And holding our head is what we should do, because we can't do anything but. That's who we are.
But you've also got journalists pretending they're apolitical, and so they treat it as a personality thing, instead of actually going, well, look at this policy and analysing it compared to this policy. Is it actually going to be work? Is it actually costed? They don't look at the policies. They just go, oh, look, here we got this person. Oh, look, they're fighting.
And then that's one of the exciting things about young people today, because they've grown up in a quite fractious and quite at times bullshit social media. Their bullshit skills have developed quite a bit. They've developed critical thinking skills that the previous generation didn't have. There's no such thing as being apolitical. No. There's no such thing as being aethical. You can be amoral, whatever that means, but you can't be aethical. Whatever you do has an ethical implication. Whatever you do has a political implication. The idea of being apolitical and the idea of being a neutral journalist is absurd, because they never ever existed. They never existed. They were always, they were the fourth estate because they were there to support the state. They were always there to support the state. So if the state is no longer capable of doing what it should do for people and for their children and for the future, then it makes sense that people are more walking away from it. It's just amazing that they lasted as long as they did, really. So.
So we have, all our policies are on a public website, the Australian Greens. You can follow Greens politicians on social media. You can follow independent media. You can find out what the Greens are about.
And if you are worried about where the hell are the Greens, don't wait till the next election and they go, oh, where were they? Get involved. Start researching. Get involved in your local party.
Start talking to your friends.
Yeah. Have these kitchen table conversations.
Yep. Cool.